If the sport of tennis as a whole fails to make this connection with that younger audience in Gen Z, do you think there's a chance that tennis could potentially decline and fade in the future?
Times are changing in tennis, and it's clear to see. With the likes of the big three and the Williams sisters on their way out of the game, opens up a new chapter of exciting new talents all ready to grace the game. However, capturing the attention of the Gen Z audience is challenging, due to a reduction in attention spans, the need for instant gratification, and the highly digital, fast-paced content demands of this audience. With record-breaking new sponsorships, Netflix documentaries, and new enticing formats coming to the fore, will this be enough to secure tennis's longevity in the future? Can the sport possibly decline and fade? The future of tennis is in the hands of Gen Z. So times are changing, the digital world is evolving, but how does that link to tennis? I spoke to the head of content at Wimbledon, William Giles, who explained the difficulties of appealing to the younger audience now that we're in a completely new digital age.
So if you go back 50 years or so, there was only maybe a couple of channels on TV. There wasn't much else in terms of multimedia that you were competing with. Whereas now there are so many routes to entertainment, apps, different platforms, different devices. So the fragmentation of kind of entertainment output is probably the biggest challenge, because it's not enough to just be relevant on linear TV broadcast. You've now got to have a presence on multiple different platforms to reach audiences who are all in different spaces. So regardless of what you think about attention spans or actually what people want, the number one challenge is competing with all the other things that are out there.
So we've learned that the competition is fierce when it comes to appealing to this Gen Z audience. In order to adapt, organisations in the tennis world like Wimbledon and the other Grand Slams have set up their own social media channels, which can be a great way of appealing to a new audience and building a fan base. In 2023, Wimbledon achieved 1.9 billion impressions and a combined 82.3 million engagements across all its social channels during the tournament fortnight and the grass court season. Tennis players themselves have also spoken on the importance of using social media to bring fans to the sport. Almost every tour level player will have their own social channels in which they post their own content. Let's see what someone from Gen Z has got to say on the matter.
I think when you look at the classic Grand Slams, like Wimbledon in particular, I'd say definitely appeals to the older generation. So I think things like the next gen final, especially with the under 21s and the technology that they're putting behind that, implementing the new rules that are going to be in play, let's say 10, 15 years down the line, like the no lets. I think that's a big thing. Playing music in the crowds, I think that definitely goes a lot.
In response to this, Wimbledon and other competitors have had to innovate to make their brand become more relatable to the younger audiences. Mr. Giles spoke to me on the strides their brand has made over the years to achieve this goal.
And then I think, we often try to be innovative and the content we create. So we've dipped our toe in the water in esports, for example, and doing an esports championship. So I think just being aware of the trends kind of in the zeitgeist at the moment and looking to bring Wimbledon to those in a way that's still on brand enough, but a way that isn't going to feel artificial for the audiences and really giving them what they want on the platforms they want to give us the opportunity of increasing our audience size.
For some time now, tennis has been criticised for its lack of innovation and being stuck in its old ways. What with the extremely long 5-set matches at Grand Slam level and the excruciating amount of time it takes in between points and sets. New formats have been introduced that act as alternatives to the main ATP Tour. The likes of Patrick Mouratoglou's brainchild in the Ultimate Tennis Showdown, the Next Gen ATP Finals and exhibitions like the Netflix Slam are all new variations of tennis that can be more consumable to a younger audience.
I know the UTS attracts a younger audience, and again I know from speaking to Mouratoglou, the idea there is that it acts, that events like that acts as a kind of complement to the main tour, not as a rival, which I think is good. And even with things like the Next Gen Finals, there are You know, they've done some interesting things with the rules. They play like best of 5 sets, like first of 4 games. I think that's quite interesting.
Paddle and pickleball are tennis-like sports that have recently picked up some attention over the last few years. I wanted to find out from a Gen Z member themselves the enjoyment behind these sports and whether tennis was under threat.
Obviously, paddle and pickleball on the horizon, it will be growing massively. As a tennis player yourself, have you ever seen or considered switching over there maybe completely?
No, this is so. To most tennis fans, they'll tell you that is the switch you can't make, especially pickleball, because players like Jack Sock, obviously on the tennis tour, they're kind of champions in pickleball now, earning loads of money. It's kind of seen as an easy get-out card, if you like. For me, I love paddle. I am a paddle fan. I play a lot at home. I play with a girl who's like first in the country at racquetball. She's unbelievable, and I love it. But for me, that's for fun. You enjoy it. Yeah, you can play in fun tournaments, maybe earn a bit of money if you get really lucky or a holiday. But tennis is the sport where it requires a lot more skill. I'm sure if you got on camera today, I'm definitely not one of the top players, but I'll give them a run for their money, and there's some serious players, and I think it requires a lot of skill. But paddle's one to enjoy, and so is pickleball. I'm going to stick to tennis.
So finally, tennis is in the hands of Gen Z. Is this statement fair? Is this statement true? As for any sport, change is inevitable, and leaving one era will always open up another. So while it's true that tennis may be dependent on Gen Z or that younger audience to maintain its popularity, the same process will repeat itself, and tennis will be dependent on another generation in the years to come.